Beth Castellini with Lizzie Stamps, and I have another technique idea to show you all. This is called the spotlight technique. So they're great to use for big background stamps. And the background stamps, really, they can just be the background of your card, or doing a technique like this is really, really fun. So I'm going to show you exactly how I did this. So let's get started. So the first thing you're going to need is a piece of 4 1/4 by 11 garden. This is garden green, and I'm going to go ahead and fold it at 5 1/2. I scored it at 5 1/2. So we have that ready to go. Then I have a piece of, actually I have 2 pieces, one for the inside, which I'm going to put to the side. And this is the one that we're going to be using to stamp our big background on. Okay. And then I also have a 2 3/8 circle. We have a punch, and I punched out a piece of fresh freesia, so we will need that. And then I also made a double bow. And this ribbon is it's a ribbon that's in Celebration, and it's a fresh freesia velvet. It's really pretty. And you can get this for free right now through the end of February if you spend $60 or more. Really, really pretty. And then I have a piece of, it's almost less than an inch by 3 1/4, and this is what we're going to use to stamp our sentiment for the front. And then I'm going to be using this Happy Labels punch, and I'm going to show you how you use that. Okay, so we have that, and then don't forget your envelope. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do is we want to stamp the background. Okay, so here it is. This is a big background, as you can tell, and it's a red rubber stamp, and I'm using our biggest block, which is E. This is E. So if you have a stamp positioning tool, this would work great with the stamp positioning tool as well. Okay, and then we have our Memento black ink that we'll be using. And this is how I showed to do this. So we're going to stamp the background first. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to leave this down flat, and I'm just going to use my black Memento ink and go all the way around, pressing more in the middle. So I pressed a little too hard, but it's still okay. We'll still get a nice crisp image. So as you can see, this is very big. So we have a piece of 4 by 5 1/4 white, basic white. So it's not going to cover the whole background of the stamp. So you don't want to get sticky and black all over your fingers. So I'm going to lay it down. Okay, so I just want to show you that I'm going to lay it down, and I'm going to pick an area because I sort of want that swallow. There's also another swallow going this way, and there's one right here. So there's different ways that you can, if you decide when you use your circle punch to punch it out. But I'm just going to lay it over, and then I'm just going to slowly rub all over the block. You want to be careful that you don't move the card base, and rub it all the way around. This is the easiest way to do this. If I had a stamp positioning tool, I would definitely be using that because it's really helpful. Okay, so as you can see there, we've got the excess, and I'm just going to slowly lift it up, and look how beautiful that is. Nice, crisp, clean image. Oop. Luckily, didn't fall. Okay, so I'm going to put that to the side. You definitely want to clean that off after you finish using it. Okay, so now what we're going to do, because as you can see here in this card, I decided I wanted my focal to be the flowers right here. You can position it over more if you wanted to use the swallow as well as down here. It doesn't matter where you cut the circle. Okay, so I'm going to, and you do want to let this dry just a minute because the Memento ink just takes a minute to set in. But I'm going to go ahead And similar to this one, I really want the focal point to be the flowers. But I'm going to show you the various ideas if you wanted to. There's just different ways. So this is our 2 1/4 inch punch. And so I can decide, do I want to cut it here? Do I want to cut it down here where I have the swallow? That might be really pretty. So we can do that. How about we do it down there? It doesn't matter where you do it, okay? So I'm going to show you exactly what will happen. All right, so I'm going ahead and taking my piece off. You're going to put this to the side for right now. And I'm going to put my circle punch away. And what we're going to do is use our watercolor pencils, okay? These are our watercolor pencils. We have 2 sets, okay? So what's nice about these watercolor pencils is they're so easy to color in. So you can see all the various colors we have. They are numbered as well as the name. And this one has 12. And I really like the colors. And then this one has 10. So I really like these. So you've got your watercolor assortment 2, and this is your other watercolor assortment. The pencils, I started using the pencils way back when I first started stamping, and I really loved how it comes together because we're going to be using a blending pen, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. So you can see, and all of the colors are on the pencils themselves. So I'm going to be using fresh freesia, and then I'm going to be using Old Olive. Here we go, Old Olive from that pack. And then for the swallow, I think what I'm going to use is the basic gray because I didn't use it on the last one. And then swallows have sort of maybe there's a little bit of blue, but we'll use the balmy blue from the other set. So I'm going to go ahead and take out the balmy blue. And then I think I'm also going to get a different green. So we're going to get the balmy blue. Here it is, right here. You can see it looks a little bit brighter, but it does soften. And then the other green, I think I want to use maybe, I think I want to use a little bit of the Granny Apple Green. Okay, so there's lots of colors to play with, so I'm going to go ahead and show you how I do this. Okay, so here we have our blending pen, and our blending pen is basically like using a watercolor brush. It's nice to use. It's easy to, I'm just going to make sure this is cleaned off because I just had card class, but you can see the tip. Even though there's still a little bit of color on the tip, it's still going to go clear. So you've got 2 sides. You get a 2-pack of these, and I'm telling you, these last forever. So very worth it. So we're going to go ahead and color everything first. I am not going to worry about coloring everything in because the blending brush is going to help me. So I'm going to just go ahead, and right now I want to color, and I'm calling these could be water lilies, but I'm just, as you can see, I am just going to color around. I can always come back and make it darker after I finish blending. So that's the good thing about using the watercolor markers or pencils and the blending, because you can come back in, color in more, blend. Okay, so here's where the magic happens. So I'm going to go ahead and just start coloring it in. And look how the blending brush picks up the color, and it's almost like you're watercoloring. As you saw, I did not use a lot of force when I was coloring these in. So I'm going to let this, we'll finish coloring the rest of it, but I just want to show you, and I'll come back in and maybe color a little bit more. So then I take my scrap piece and I just take off the fresh freesia color we just used. Okay, so then the next thing I want to do is I'm going to use 2 colors using the Granny Apple Green and the Old Olive. So I'm going to go in first with the Granny Apple Green and lightly color. I'm not really using a lot because I definitely want to come back in with the Old Olive. Okay, so here we go again. Just go ahead and color it in. It really, once you use the blending brush, it's so great. All right, go ahead and color that in. So here we go. How pretty is that? All right, then we're gonna do the swallow, and then I'll come back and add the old olive for the leaves. All right, so I'm gonna use basic gray. So I'm gonna just go ahead in and do this, and maybe its tail, okay? So then we're gonna use the blending brush again. And it does soften it when you color it in with the blending brush. I really like that. And then I'm going to use the balmy blue. I'm really not going to put a lot of pressure on it. Look how pretty that looks. Just a little bit. Okay, and then we've got our blending brush. Color it in. There. Look how pretty. Very, very simple. Now I want to go back and add a little bit more dimension with the leaves. So I'm going to get my old olive, and I'm going to go ahead and just color in the areas. As you can see, I'm doing it. Even the shadowing of the leaves right here would be a great idea. And then maybe down here and there. Okay. All right. So then we're going to get my blending brush again. And we're going to go ahead and color over it. So as you can see, it gives it a little bit more dimension. And it's okay if you color outside the lines, but there you go. All right. And that's all there is to it. It's really quite easy to color these in, and I love using the watercolor pencils. I think they're just so much fun because you can do a lot of shading in them if you want to. So it's really helpful. Cute. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to layer our piece that we punched out, and I'm going to layer it onto this circle piece of fresh freesia. And you notice it's just giving you a little bit, about 1/8 of an inch around. So it just gives that extra little pop. So I'm going to go ahead and use my liquid glue and color that in, and then put this on the circle. Okay. And then while that's drying, I'm just going to let that dry for a minute. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to adhere this to the front of the card base. All right. I want to make it flat because we are going to dimensional this up, okay, like that. All right, so I'm gonna just use my liquid glue again because the liquid glue is forgiving. You have a few seconds to move it around while you're making sure that you have it even on the card base. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do this. There we go. All right. Okay, so there we go. Now, we're going to get some dimensionals, and with the dimensionals, I'm going to show you how you pop it up. Just find, I guess I use these little dimensionals. So I'm going to go ahead and add some dimensionals. These are our mini dimensionals that we have. And I just need about 4. And then I'm going to take the backs off. And then I'm going to lay the punched circle right back over exactly where I punched, okay? So if I'm looking at it and I see right about there, okay? And see how it still looks like it's continuing, but we're just spotlighting one area. Isn't that so pretty? I think that's so great. All right, so and then this is the other thing I did, is I took a Wink of Stella pen and I just colored the flowers just to give it a little bit more bling. All right, there we go. If you want to, you can color in the swallow as well. So it gives it a little bit more shine. So hopefully you can see that. All right, okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to stamp. This is another piece of 4 by 5 1/4, and we're going to stamp our sentiment for the inside. The outside sentiment is going to be "So lucky to know you." So we're going to use this scrap piece and stamp that as well, as because we're going to be using garden green for this. So I'm going to go ahead and take my garden green, and we're going to go ahead and stamp the inside first. You are the best. okay? So we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to stamp it right there in the middle. There, you're the best, okay? Put that to the side, and then we've got our scrap piece, and we're going to stamp So Lucky to Know You. And I really sort of want to do it in the middle. Remember, this is less than an inch, and I'll tell you the reason why I did it that way. Okay, so we'll put that to the side. So one of the great things about using these label punches, I'm just going to show you, is that there's different sizes. So here's the inch, the outer part, and then it's a 3/4 inch, and then it's a 1/2 inch, and it's the same thing. So you've got this edge, it's like a ticket, and this is a scallop. We're using the scallop today. So I'm just going to show you how I do that. I'm just going to slide it in to the scallop area all the way in until it ends, until I can't do it anymore. And I'm just going to punch, and look at that. And then I'm going to turn it around and do the same thing. Just gives a little bit more cuteness to the card by just giving that little edge. And to make it even pop even more, I'm going to sponge with fresh freesia, and this is one of our sponge daubers, and the sponge dauber, and this has been used so you can see how it's frayed a little bit. But I love that the sponge dauber, and I put the name on it so you can see fresh freesia, because I keep it in a box. And so then I'm just going to take my fresh freesia, whoops, and stamp it, and then I'm just going to go ahead and sponge very so lightly. Oh, you can see how the pieces are flying off. This one is probably going to be thrown away, but you do get them in a pack of 5, which is really nice to have. So there you go. So once it's on the card, you'll notice it's just a lot nicer because it makes the tag pop up. So now we are done with all of our stamping, and we're ready to put the card together. All right, so here's our pieces. All right, and we need to glue our inside. Go ahead and glue the inside. Again, I love having the 1/4 inch edging. So you're the best. And now we're going to put So Lucky for You, to Know You. So you can see I did this one up here, and then I put it down here. So we're going to look and see where it would be the best. So I can stick it up here. I could stick it down here, but I don't want to cover everything. So I think I'm going to do it right about here. So I like that. So I'm going to go ahead and add some dimensionals. I'll probably put 5 on. So the middle, so it lays more flat. Okay. All right, so now I've got the dimensionals on, and now we're ready to put it on the card. So I think I want to put it right about here. There. All right, so now we have that, and then we've got our, where did I put it? Oh, it's right here. This is the beautiful, here's the ribbon I wanted to show you. I love it. It's faux velvet ribbon, and it's about an 1/8 of an inch. Look how pretty that is. And you get a lot. And this is another, like I said, this is a celebration freebie. And then, so I went ahead and did a double knot. And my customers love when we have class that I do the double knot for them. But I really wanted to showcase it because it just was so pretty. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to put some glue dots. I'm going to put several on. And this is the greatest thing about our glue dots is that there's the glue dot right there. And I'm just going to press the ribbon onto the glue dot and lift it up. And so it's on. And I think I want a little bit more reinforcement, so I'm going to do another one. Okay. Look how cute that is. I just think it's really cute. Then one other thing that we have are these beautiful brass butterflies. And it comes in 2 different sizes. And you get 80 of these in a pack. So it goes a long way. So I might want to use, well. And remember, what's really great to get your embellishments off is using our Take Your Pick tool. And here is the putty side that we'll be using. So I'm going to use my big one first. And I want to put one right there. And then I'm going to do a smaller one and put him right there. There we go. And you know, everything has to be in threes. And do I want to do another big one? I think I want to do another big one. So here's another big one. And I think I want him right there. And then on the inside, I just want another small one because I think it's so cute just to put him right there. So that's it. That is, the spotlighting techniques are great. You could have a bigger circle if you wanted to, but I really like the layering of our 2/4 inch punch and our 2 3/8 inch punch. They're just my favorites, and I'm so glad because for a while they went away and now they're back. I love punches. I think it's just so easy to use. So I'm going to show you both the cards, and I hope you'll really try this technique out. So here's the one that the first one I did. And then this is the one that we just did together. I really think that's so fun. I love the different areas. So I really hope that you give this a try. Definitely, you can find all of the products on my website at lizziestamps.stampinup.net. And I really hope you give it a try. I would love to hear your comments to see what you would do. And I really appreciate you watching, and happy stamping.